I'm George,
I'm Jesse, and we're in Stick to Your Guns.
and this is a story about how music has saved our lives. When I was younger, my mom just strapped me to a piano bench and just forced me to take piano lessons. And it was the worst. I mean, when you're like in second grade, it's just the last thing you want to do because, you know, you see like rock stars on stage and you think, this is not that. This is me playing Hot Cross Buns on a piano. But 5 grueling years later, I found out that my piano teacher was actually a drum teacher. The piano thing was a side gig. And so the day I found out that was game over. So then I just started playing drums.
I would say my older brother, because pretty much anything that he did, it's one of those things where I had older brother worship where it's just anything he did I wanted to do. The shoes he bought, I wanted to get those ones. To the point where it obviously annoyed him very, very much. But he wanted to play guitar, so my mom he talked to my mom like, I want guitar lessons, and I was like, cool, I'll do guitar too. And my brother's like, we'll compromise. You don't do guitar, you do drums, and that way we can like play together. Be in a band. Like, oh, sick! I was lucky enough to have an older brother and older sister who listened to like Sepultura and Black Flag and Minor Threat. And my brother was a Fat Records kid and stuff like that. So it was that kind of music that was it was like snotty and it was like urgent and it was like frustrated and it was angry and it was like I was kind of fuck yeah, you know what I mean?
Me personally, I grew up a really big Green Day fan, and I still catch a lot of shit for it. But I'm kind of like a Green Day apologist, so I think that has just led me to liking just a lot of pop punk bands in general, whether it be older pop punk bands like the Ramones or newer ones, Teenage Bottle Rocket, for instance, or just stuff like that in general. It's poppy, happy, but I mean it's what I like.
I didn't really fit in to a lot of different places, and that was a thing that I was very frustrated with. And it was never the thing of like, oh, I don't fit in, fuck you, you know what I mean? It was like, damn it, why don't I fit in? Fuck, you know what I mean? It was like I was frustrated with it. It's hardcore music that taught me about the importance of like living sober, which I know isn't important for everyone, but it's important for me, and it taught me the importance of like treating living things with respect. Human and non-human, and now it's become a platform that this band can speak about things that we think are important.
I'd say music has probably defined everything in my life, and it probably will continue to define everything in my life. In middle school, it helped me connect with people that I felt understood the type of person that I was, or understood the things that I was in, or the things that I was going through. I think it just made life easier. I had an outlet, to talk with my friends about other things, or I could listen to the bands that I loved, and I could use that to vent my frustrations. I think now more so than ever, music's probably the most important thing in my life.
I used to be that kid standing next to you in the show who you wouldn't talk to, but yet I feel like because we're in this band, people have this image of us that we're like, oh, they're in this band and that's cool. And now they want to talk with us. If I was just Joe Schmo, you wouldn't really want to talk with me. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a mentality that kind of sucks. For instance, I went to a show in Iowa City, Iowa, and I met this young man. I had no idea what his name was. And we had just lost a drummer, and he was holding drumsticks. And I said, do you want to be in our band? And now he is in our band. You know what I mean? When we were just in the same room, and if things didn't go, if something little different would have happened, then we would have remained strangers, and I, to this day, probably wouldn't even know who he is. So, and I think we need to start treating everyone with that kind of like, oh, that person is in fucking this band. Oh, I want to talk with them, even though they're a complete stranger.
That person's important.
Exactly, because everyone has importance, but I feel like we put importance on the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Because we still are those kids standing in the fucking room next to you. That kid that you wouldn't ever give the time of day.
Shit, no one even knows I'm in this band.
So I
still am that kid, definitely.
Exactly.
Life's tough and it shits on you, but the thing is you have to play the hand you get dealt, and you have to roll with the punches. So there's a brighter outlook, past all the shit that gets thrown on you, and I think it's worth sticking around for.